happening yet. That's the final coat. That's 4 coats of hang on, show you what we're using.
So that's Spray Max Satin Clear Coat.
Yeah, if you can't read German. That's four lightish medium coats on the ball and the dome and Chopper's antenna for some reasons we wanted to check to see how it reacts to dirty down. And it's fine. And just got to let that cure now, and then we can, or I can put the ball back together.
And for curing, we're going to do that in a warmed garage room to make sure it cures off and hardens properly.
Sure. Yeah, so it's just a waiting game now. As you can see, it's lovely weather for doing this.
And just a quick shot. Have some more panels in there, and then the other ball half there. Because at least one of us has a warm garage.
I have a garage, it's not warm. Right, so the next step will be letting it cure, and then
Final assembly.
Final assembly. Well, actually clean off those Wonka bars so I can actually put the thing back together, but yeah.
It'll be fine.
Okay, so I've got the dome back. It's now been lacquered. You can see there's a slight shine, but it's somehow managed to lacquer dust. But anyway, so that's ready, and now to put the lights in. So this is a little blue gem that I got off I think it was a Swedish builder, God, years ago. I had one left, so luckily, and that will just glue in there. And then these are the, I only need one. These are the light lenses that go in here, and just the one just there. Obviously we've got the PSI already in there, and then that's the cap that goes on the back of that, with the near pixel will be glued to it. So the job now is to glue that near pixel string to the various pieces, and then test it works. So see how we get on. Right, so I've hot glued the lenses in. Yes, they look a little untidy, and I've also hot glued these bits in as well. Although they are pressure fit, I know as soon as any sort of thing pushes against them, they'll pop out in a force. I mean, the hot glue is not really going to stop it too much, but it gives me that sort of a little bit of insurance. So yeah, it doesn't look neat, but it's enough to put the near pixels in, sort of sit in these sort of cutouts here, just about. So we'll start off, and I'll start off the chain, which would be this one, then this one, then this one, and then those 4, and then those 2. So I'll get on with that. Alright, so that's plugged in, and they're all working, and I don't know how well you're going to see in here, but it's not brilliantly tidy. But it'll work. Sorry if that just turned upside down on you there. And so now the other test is make sure the PSI works. Okay, PSI is not working. Okay, weird. Got plugged into the right thing, haven't I? Yeah, D4. Okay, I'll have to have a look, see what's going on there. Okay, so it was working, it just moved from here, so actually it was flashing here. It was working. So I've taken the electrical tape off, and I've hot glued those 3 down just as I have with these. I'm not sure how much of a problem that's going to be, but we'll see. I might end up turning them around 90 degrees, so those two do that one and those two do that one, but we'll see. In fact, actually, let's have a look now, because there we go, so that goes there, so it should be okay. I mean, I need to put cable tidies in. I'll do that in a minute, but it should be okay. So stand that back up again, otherwise it falls over. So what I might do is I'm going to let the hot glue dry, and then I'm going to put some electrical tape back over it, just to create like a, almost like a blackout blind over the LED, so more light goes that way rather than, you know, back out. And I'm really thinking that should have been painted black, but never mind, it's done now. So yeah, hot glue is probably dry, and then I'll put some more electrical tape on, some better electrical tape, and that should create a nice backlight or blackout blind behind it. Right, let's try that again, shall we? So red, blue, PSI, 4 white, 2 blue, and then if I turn BB8 on, perfect. Oh, need to turn the controller on, don't I?
Welcome to OpenTX.
I'd say that works. So now it's just a case of attaching the halo onto these pieces here, well, putting the skirt on as well, but attaching the halo to those, and then that's the head done. Put the top back on, obviously. I say the head's done. I need to put that little gem in and cut out the lens, which you saw was the Christmas ball wrapped in blue masking tape that's now used chopping with a, pardon me, with a Dremel. But I can glue that in now. But yeah, say hi, BB8. Okay, it's more or less alive. Let's check, see how well he moves his head. And bearing in mind he's just resting on top of that halo, so I'm trying to be careful. But I like that, it's looking good. Well, the thumb screws are in, and that was relatively painful. I managed to, can't really show on here, but I managed to scrape away most of the bark on my knuckles. So we've got that on. That's still running. That's all still running. So I think now I'll try and put it on here and see what happens. It's quite a reassuring thump, isn't it? So that seems to be okay. Obviously that's still clamping down too much because of the depth behind that, but I'm liking that. So let's grab the lid. So you can see here I've got 2 tabs at the back, one at the front. There's a gap just there for the front tab. Okay. Is that on? It's supposed to twist slightly, but I can't do it one-handed. And then one last thing. I'm trying to remember which way around this goes now. I think that one goes there. Where did the other one go? Yeah, let me find the other one. And then that one, it's the wrong way around. They're not in properly, but it's going to give me the effects I need. There we go. That's looking good, isn't it? Just need to do the lens on there. I'm liking that. got a bit of play on there. That's only because that's not tightened up. Actually no, the play on that is from the servo there, so the servo needs blocking in to stop it moving. So I need, that needs to be the front. Yeah, that needs to be the front. So when I tighten this up, I need to make sure it's in that position. But yeah, I have a BB8 dome. More or less. So in case you're wondering, these are off my old BB8. I got them from one of the droid builders in the UK called Giles. However, I believe he got them from Matt Hobbs over in America. So if you go on the BB8 builders group, or even the R2D2 builders group on Facebook, or the BB8 forum, I think you're able to still buy those. And obviously it's bendy, so it's not going to break off or hurt anybody. But yeah, I'm liking this so far. So next up it's putting the body back together. Right, so I was just getting ready to put BB8 back together, and then I realised that I need to make a sort of a block here to stop this moving. Also to remount the speakers. So using my really crude 360 fusion skills, I've made a nice block here that sits nicely over that, with a cutout for the speaker, and the speaker just pushes in. I will probably hot glue or something just to stop it dropping out, and there's a speaker on each side. I still don't know if they're going to be able to hear this through the shell of the sphere or not, but I guess we'll see. And as I said, I designed a block for this, and it was nothing special. It's just like a U-shaped cutout that's just going to go in there. Just slightly too tall. I measured the height and didn't take into account this bit here. So I'm going to reprint that. It's about an hour, so I just need to knock about another ½ mil off. And then that will sit in there, effectively blocking all that gap up, which should stop that moving around, hopefully. It'd be nice to have a better servo mount for it, but I don't think such a thing exists. I mean, this is kind of it's not supposed to be designed like that, you know. You're not supposed to use it like this. But anyway, yeah, I'll print the next one off, and then I'm pleased that it's blocky, but it works. I'll print the next one off, and then we're good to go. I might just put an enclosure over that. It just gets screwed down rather than hot gluing it. That might work. I'll think about that. Anyway, I'll do this one, and then we'll see how it looks. In the end, I made 3 of these, each very slightly shorter than the other, and it kept not fitting. I did the 4th one. The 4th print failed halfway through, and that's fine. So actually, it was a good job it did fail, because I didn't take into account this bit. So I'm going to remeasure that and adjust this file to fit. So if I publish it, I'll publish that as well. That'll fit underneath this motor, which is MG996R. You'll notice I've also screwed some screws in, so that now holds that in place. That's not moving, and I've tested it moving the head around, and it really throws the head around. So these were good prototypes. They'll get put in my recycling thing to melt down, or I'm sure I can find some of use for them. Only 3 U shapes for some sort of bracket. So the next thing is, I think that's it. I just need to cut this pole down slightly. So I think this should be more or less just very, very slightly above that, I think. And then I still need to do the eye, but cut that down, and I can put this in the ball, seal the ball up, and give it a test drive. And we'll see how it goes. Lovely shot of a bag of rubbish there. There we go. Let's see how it goes. So just a quick update before I even look at this. I put those flashy blinky lights on, and I've wound it. So the box is going to sit there. It's over there at the moment, but it's wound round the frame through the frame. Luckily, because it's aluminium, this doesn't affect it. I've left enough slack here and on the other side so it doesn't interfere with the movement. And basically, I wrapped it all around. So apart from looking like a very cyberpunk Christmas tree, this should give me the flashing effects I need for the lights. So I've got all the different modes here. So there's lots of different modes. I'll just try and find one that works. I mean, that's almost like a shutdown, isn't it? That's the one we had on just now. That one might work quite well. And then that's just steady on. So yeah. So basically, this box will go there. I'll clip it on somehow. There's clips there to replace the batteries, so I should be able to get to it okay. I might put some command strips on that actually, you know, the Velcro strips that you use to hang up pictures. Just put 2 of those on, that should be enough to hold that on. And then I can try it with the ball. See how it goes. So yeah, it is wound quite close to the servo motor, but as you can see it still moves fine. And so apart from that falling off, it's not interfering at any point, so turn that off, go in there. So yeah, when I put it in the ball, hopefully it means that we'll get a nice flashy light sequence from the resin lights. Right, so I'm just in the process of closing the ball up, and I can't actually physically close the ball up. As I suspected, the head mass is too long. I've already cut the head mass down by, let me grab the bit, by that much, thinking that'd be enough, and it allows me to close the ball up slightly, but not enough to actually let me fully close it. So you can see there the body magnetic mount is scraping across the dome, across the sphere. That's wrong. Yeah, so my 2 options are, I think if I remove that washer that's between the body magnetic mount and the dome and the head mast, it might just about give enough clearance, but it might not be enough. The other option is I chop a little bit of the bottom of the magnetic mount off, sort of maybe like 5 or 6 mil, so the bottom screw is pretty much at the bottom of the body magnetic mount. The other option is I need to lower the whole mast, these screws here, and just lower the whole thing down by 1 section. Basically I can go down, how are you going to see? I can go down like 1 screw hole, maybe 2, before it starts hitting the grey block in the middle. The other option is I could actually move this section down, which might be a bit easier. In fact, yeah, I might move that section down, so less hassle, I think. And I have to move the green bit up the same amount of blocks accordingly, so that this triangle stays roughly the same. It does mean I have to unwind all the copper wiring for the lights, but at least I know now, so that's what I've got to do before I can finish putting the ball together. But on the right side, the ball is going together. It still fits, and looking at how much room I've got in here, which admittedly isn't a lot, but I should be able to put all the screws in around the inside. Well, yeah, because obviously the other side's got another one of these hatches. I should be able to do that. So that's what I'm going to have to do. Alright, so I was all ready to put the ball together, and then did a quick test and realised that the head servo wasn't working. Don't know why, maybe I bashed it too much when I was taking this bit apart. So anyway, I put on a spare 996R, and I couldn't work out why I couldn't get the shaft off the old servo. Turns out I'd superglued it, and I'm thinking, why the hell did I superglue it? I've gone to put this shaft coupler onto this servo, and yeah, that's why I superglued it. It's not quite tight enough, so I'm telling you this mainly so you know why I superglued it, but also to remind myself in 5 years' time when I have to take the servo out why I superglued it. It's either that or I just eventually look for a different shaft coupler. I've also cut the shaft down by about the same amount again, so about 2.5 centimeters. That now means that it should not scrape across the inside of the sphere, but still be close enough that the magnets will work. So now I need to put the headmast back together again. I'm going to super glue the servo shaft to the servo, and providing I have any energy left, because I've had a really bad sickness bug, I might put the sphere back together. If not, I might just wait a while and do that later, but let's try and get this bit done at least.
Right, I finally got the ball pushed together, and you can see there that the body magnetic mount is still too close to the edge of the ball. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to have to do now is take off a little bit at the bottom of the bottom body magnetic mount, just below the bottom screw, sort of just there. I think that's the only way it's going to work now. I can't even drop that down anymore. Well, I could make that servo holder lower, which means I could drop that down a bit. Which means I have to take the damn thing apart again. Yeah. I was getting so close as well. And I managed to break one of these. Basically the pressure of the ball, the pressure of this wheel was pushing out against the panel, and because the panel's not screwed down, it kind of just popped out, which is worrying because it shouldn't happen. It just means when it rolls around, is that liable to pop out at random points, you know. I guess I won't know until this is actually screwed together, creating a solid ball, but it is slightly worrying. Anyway, I guess I'm going to take the ball apart again, and then work out what's going on. Yeah, lower the magnetic mount, or lower the headmast down a bit more. Might have to do a bit of both. Okay, I'll go back and get some more energy, as in rest, and then come back and try again. You know when you feel like you're just going round and round in circles, you're not actually making any progress? That's how I feel like I'm going right now. I put the ball back together, and the headmast was still hitting across here, so I lowered the headmast. I printed a new servo holder to make it wider, to accommodate for the wider part. Didn't need it in the end, but I needed to print a new one of these that's even smaller, so I did that. And I went to put the ball back together, got the ball together, did a quick test of, made sure that everything works. Pardon me. And the headmast is still hitting the inside of the ball, but only when it tilts forward. Likewise, the drive wasn't working. So I've just taken the ball apart again, and turned out it's the stabilisation. If I have it set on a certain setting, then it won't move the drives unless it's being tilted, in which case it tries to correct. So I need to remember that. So that was an easy fix, just the right setting. The other reason with the headmast still hitting when it tilts forward is because somewhere over the last year or two, and I've not noticed, is the centre of the headmast. So you imagine you've got the headmast in the middle of the body on that long pole. Somewhere over the time it's shifted forward slightly, so it's not in the middle of the droid, it's slightly to the front, which means every time it moves forward it's actually hitting the ball. So I've just literally knocked it back with a hammer because the bearings were stuck solid, and now I'm trying to get the ball back together again. Incidentally, I've screwed in the screws for the Vonka bars on each side, so that when I have to keep taking it apart again, I know that only certain ones are going to come out, and they're going to come out the right way, which means it's keyed putting it back together the correct way round, as in, like, the panels match the right way round. I'm really hoping I don't have to take this ball apart again. I'm probably going to have to, for some reason. I still got concerns about these. I don't think they're strong enough. As soon as the weight of the drive hits it, it just bows outwards, which is slightly concerning. Especially if it rests. You know, if there's a resting point that's going to bow outwards and pop out. It's only 4 little screws at the end of the day holding it in. So that might be a design revision for Paul Wanamaker to look at when when he's back to working on this, if he gets back to working on this. Yeah, it seems like it's a bit of a, not a design flaw, because effectively this is still in beta. There's only about 4 of us making it. There were about 12 in the group originally, and there's only me and Dave Alvarez who are actually still making it, as far as I know. Everyone else has kind of sort of just stopped. I think I'm the furthest ahead. So I suppose this is feedback. Paul, I don't think these are strong enough. I think they need extra supports under here. Even if it's not screwed in, it's just an extra support to stop it. It's basically bowing out here between these 2 points. So if there's an extra support underneath, even if it's not screwed in, it would stop it bowing out, I think. But if I'd have to replace that, which means I'd have to take these panels out and replace those, and then there's a whole thing to do, which I'm not going to be able to do before Celebration, not a chance in hell. So I might have to live with it and see, and just have to try and roll it, if I can get the damn thing working. Just roll it so that these pieces are always on the top and the bottom. So effectively, I'm turning the hamster drive into a hub drive. It always rolls like that, so that these never come into contact with the side wheels. I might find one still together. It's all right. It's just that's how I'm finding at the moment. So I'm going to get on with putting this together. Basically, I just want to get the ball together, and then I've got to try and find a way to screw the thing from the inside. I've got to Allen keys and screws, and I'm going to have to screw all the way around here, all the way across there, and then the same on the other 2 spheres, 2 circles. And then I suppose I should screw these screws in here, but I'm half tempted not to. I should, but it just means that it's easier to unkey it afterwards. I don't know. Well, I definitely got to do these. But so I'm going to try and get the ball back together. It is a pig, because you line up 2 of these, and then you line up the next 2. And then you go to line the 3rd one, and then you hear a pop as the first ones come apart. You don't even get to the 4th one, and then eventually it'll all just sort of click together. And then you've got to put your whole body weight on top and just have this whole thing slide down, and hope in the meantime you don't hear a horrible crack as as one of these side panels doesn't go into here properly. It's terrifying, to be honest. So yeah, let's try and get the ball together. And then I think I'll try screwing it together later, because I'm losing my patience. And what I do need to do is I still need to tighten the headmast up, but I don't want to tighten it up until I know that it's not going to hit the front of the, hit the ball, hit the sphere when it tilts forward. The other option is that I turn it around, so what is currently backwards is now forwards. I'll have to reverse the drive thrust. Not a problem. Does mean reversing the left and right as well, but yeah, it's not a problem. I can do it that way. It just means then there's more head forward rather than more head back. I don't think I need that much head back. More of that and less that. So anyway, as I said, I'll get on with it, and then I'll find some enthusiasm to screw the thing together. That's how I'm feeling right now. It's about to go out the window if I'm not careful. Right, I started putting the screws in, and as you can see, where the single screw is, that's where the slot went into the ball. I can't quite, actually I can see it a bit better now. Actually I might be able to get the screw in there. Yeah, I should be able to get the screw in there actually. I might go back and do that. And same on the other side. So these interior lights are actually quite helpful. Where's the other side? Where's the other side? There it is. I've done the same on this side as well. I keep rounding the screws out, that's why I haven't put a 4 in.
If I got enough, I'll go back and put 4 in. So, and I just started putting put the first screw in there, and start working my way around that I can reach. And the same there as well, as far as I can reach. And then I've got to do, how are you going to be able to see it? I've got to do up around here as well. So something I am finding, I'll zoom back out again, these cannot take the pressure of these wheels. As soon as one of these wheels hits it, if there's no cover there, it just snaps. I've had to glue several of them back together already just by rolling the ball around to try and get my hand in. I am not confident that they are going to stay together in general use. I don't think they're strong enough. I'm not sure what else to do about that. I don't think there is anything else I can do about that, certainly at this late stage anyway. Alright, bit of weathering that we gathered already. So yeah, luckily these interior lights make things easy to see what I'm doing. Although they are completely useless for actually lighting up the sphere, as you can tell, but they work quite well for seeing what's going inside. So interior work lights, they're great. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on putting the screws in. It is incredibly difficult, as you can imagine. You're having to contort yourselves into all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and it's times like this I wish I had the ability of Ant-Man, because I could just shrink down, climb inside and stand on something and screw the screw in. That would be really helpful right now. But anyway, so yeah, this is going to take a while, so wish me luck. Alright, I've been at this on and off for about 2 days now. No joke, about 2 days. I've now resorted to a ratchet strap going around the droid. I may have mentioned in the last segment I might have been a bit delirious as well. I now resort to a ratchet strap to go and hold the circle panel, so in this case this circle panel, in place while I do the screws up. And this is just there just to protect that from damaging the paintwork. So this is a gap there, which is awkward. So I'm trying to do up the screws that go around this section here, and this is where I was having the trouble. Basically, every time I put these screws, imagine there's like 5 screws there. Every time I push the screw in, it's pushing against the inside of here and pushing it away from the rest of the triangle, from the triangle here. It's in now. I'm just starting around this side. So far I've put in 2 screws and it's been fine. I don't know if it's because of this or because actually some other reason. I think the other reason might be this is one of my original panels that I did like a year or so ago. This is one of the panels I redid when I couldn't get the 2 pieces together. So this has been printed recently on the Sidewinder, and I think it's very, 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 and I mean very slightly off, very slightly smaller. If you look here, you can see what I mean. It's not much, but it's very slightly smaller. It's just dimensionally very slightly smaller, even here as well. So I think it's either shrunk, the PLA is shrunk slightly, or I don't want to say the printers printed it incorrectly, because some of these others were printed on the Sidewinder a lot earlier, admittedly. So the only thing I can think of is this is a different PLA to the white and black I used before, and it's shrunk, which means that the alignment holes to these screws are off, which is why it kept pushing the ball out, pushing the circle panel out. They're in. I'm hoping they are in enough to hold it. But I still got to finish these screws around here, and then I'm going to go back and have another look at the screws around the other side there, and I still got to do the screws this side on each side of the hatch. Hopefully these will be a bit easier because I can just reach around, but trying to get to these ones, you're reaching up inside with a little, it's a pain. So I've even gone to the point of, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, inside BB8. You see the Vonjet bar screws, I've undone them slightly just to sort of try and move just to let the panel move slightly to enable me to get those screws in up there at the top. So those ones are in. So how many is it? 1, 2, 3. So it's taken me 2 days to put 4 screws in. Yeah, I know, 4 days. Sorry, 2 days for 4 screws. It's taken me 5 minutes to put those 2 screws in on the black side, next to the, one underneath the Vonjet bar and the one next to it. And I've got 2 more to go. In fact, actually, it might only be because I think I've done that one already. I have done that one there already. Oh, hang on. No, it's up there, isn't it? Get myself confused now. It's these ones up here. Yeah, I need to redo that one, but those 2 are done. That one should go in, and then I've got to redo that one because I think I put that one in originally and it went in wrong. And then, as I said, I'm going to have another look at the ones this side under there, especially on the other side. I think this triangle's okay. It's the other triangle, which is just outshot. Yeah, you can just sort of see the screws there by the Vonjet bar. Those are the ones I need to look at because that circle is being pushed out. As I said, then it's these screws here, so 8 screws there, and then the 8 screws on the other side. And I think it's screwed together, and then I need to fix these. Every time the weight of these wheels pushes on here, and I know I've said this before, it's pushing these out. One of these, it's on the other side. They're quite loose. I'm concerned that the weight of the wheel hitting the centre of this is actually going to pop the panel out of the screw holes. Not much I can do about it, to be honest. If it does that, then BB8 is going to be static for celebration. I should also point out, yesterday was MegaCon. As you can tell, I didn't go. I wasn't very well anyway, but I didn't go because BB8 was not ready to be MOT'd. What that means for BB8 going round celebration, I'm not quite sure yet. So apologies if you're going to go to MegaCon and see BB8. He wasn't there in the end. In fact, no BB8 was there. I don't think there was even a chopper there in the end. But he did go. I hope you had a good time. I hope you saw the Ghostbusters parade. It looked really good. I kind of wish I had seen it. And the Ecto one. I really wish I'd seen the Ecto one. But never mind. We are where we are. So I'm going to try and get these screws in up here. Have a look at those ones down there. And then I can have a look at these ones here on the other side. And then we might actually get somewhere. Maybe. Hopefully. Possibly. So we can half the celebration. Right, I have finally got the ball screwed together. Now, these still need fixing. That one has been fixed, but will need strengthening. Basically, they're all going to need strengthening. Same with the ones down the other side. So those are all screwed in. As you can see, I've got the lights on setting number 7, Twinkle Flash. Yeah, Twinkle Flash. Which seems to give the best kind of logic light glow. So I'm quite pleased with that. As you can see, I've got the ball tilted this way at the moment, very carefully resting on the other side, because I've been messing around with the halo. Tell you what, let me put the let's put the lights on steady so we're not getting the. Can I make them brighter? I can dim them. Okay, so it's brighter. Anyway, let's put them on steady so we can see inside. So you can see the halo there. Well, the body magnetic mount. That's now as low down as it can go. I did have it so the top of the bar wasn't visible. But as soon as I put the head on, yes, it's clamped, but the servo hasn't got enough power to turn the head, and we're struggling. And if I tried tilting the head, the body moved, not the head. That's how much power there was there. So I've lowered it down as far as I can go. Literally can't go any lower. And that's quite nicely stuck on. And if I power BB8 back up, BB8 is powered up. Let's power the transmitter back up.
Welcome to OpenTF.
I'm also going to get a low power warning, so there we go. So let's check it's working. So we still have sound. So let's turn the head. And apologies, this is the back of his head. I didn't think about that when I was turning the ball around to mess around. So the head's moving. And that feels fairly well stuck on. As I said before, I've got more backwards movement than forwards movement, so I might end up swapping the directions. So just take the BMM, unscrew the BMM, spin it round so this becomes the front, and change the input controls on the TX so that everything's reversed, just so I have more forward movement. I need more forward than backwards. So that's full extension, but back I could probably go all the way past to this point, but actually, so as you see, that's rocking the ball nicely, so that's working really well. So that's I can't remember the stabilisation that's on at the moment. I think that's active stabilisation, so if we put it into that one, ooh, we nearly lost the head then. And basically trying to see how long it takes for the head to... Oh, there we go. Running out of power in the batteries. Basically trying to work out how long it takes to stabilise a wobble. Not that long. That's the better one. Yeah, I'm going to replace the batteries in this. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. You notice there's 3 screws bolted in against the servo. So when I redid the Cryat drive originally, I moved this plate against the servo, so the servo couldn't move. I'd obviously forgotten that when coming to put it into the ball, because I had to collapse this head mass down. The only way that it would fit is by putting the servo plate, this plate here. I couldn't get it all the way down because just the way the holes line up. So when I put the dome on and then tried moving it around, this was attached to the mast, to the servo as it should be, except for the whole servo just went whoop straight up and latched on, basically just locks the dome in place. So these screws, which I need to tighten up a bit more, are ones to keep the servo from going up, although I imagine with enough force it probably would still smack into it. And the other 2 just to stop it moving side to side, as well as this. When I get a chance, I'm going to probably put a couple of holes, like I did originally, into here just to hold this in place. But yeah, so I mentioned that quickly. Other than that, yeah, so I just need to put new batteries in, and then, as I said, just need to fix these, and also he's going to need a bit of a charge now as well. 11.8. So yeah, bit of a charge all round for this, and then I guess we try putting the panels back on, and it seems the thing will actually roll. I'm still not convinced these are strong enough. We'll see. Hey, but at least the ball's together. So let's see. Right. Sit rep. It's
a week tomorrow is set up for celebration. So today's Wednesday. Next Thursday I'm travelling up for celebration. At the moment it looks like I'm just going to be taking Chopper because I've had to take these apart again. I've only taken these two circle panels out. But basically these tabs, despite the fact they seem pretty strong, cannot handle the weight of the drive wheel pushing against them from the inside. I mean, they seem fairly stiff now, but put them in the ball. I mean, me and John tried fixing this one. We put metal bars through it, we've resined it, we've soldered it back together, and you know, that's fairly tough. But I mean, that one still needs fixing. But basically, it can't handle the outside. Yeah, push. It can handle the down pressure, fine. It can't handle the pressure coming from the outside. So I'm printing a circle panel again. I can't remember which one this is now. I think it's I don't know which one it is at the moment. It's this one. But yeah, I'm printing it again. I'm printing it with more walls and a thicker infill. It does mean the weight is going to be slightly different for the rest of the ball. I've got to do the other circle panel as well if I've got time. So this is my backup plan, is basically a thicker circle panel. So hopefully these are stronger and won't snap. I would be printing on the other printer, but yeah. So I've got to wait for a whole new extruder set to turn up for that. So that's my plan B, assuming I can get this printed. Yeah, I've only got to paint it orange, but I've got to get it puttied, sanded, put the heat set inserts in, which needs to get hold of somehow, and then screw it back in. That's assuming that's even strong enough. In the meantime, plan A is that. And I'm going to fiberglass these bits here, basically all the way along there, along each bit, just to give it a bit of strength. I'm still not entirely convinced that's going to be strong enough, but it's worth a try. It does also mean if I have to get new circle panels, I need to get Brian to re-sign the new one, and Henrik. Anyway, regardless. So yeah, that's the plan. So I need to repair this one so it's not wobbly like a tooth anyway. And then I've never fiberglassed before, so I've got this. And yeah, I'll do it outside, and I'll quickly fiberglass. I say quickly, I don't know how long this is going to take me. I will fiberglass strips along here. I would do this side, but there's nothing to attach it to, and also creating extra height here means that the panels won't go on properly. I can get away just about with putting extra layers here, because the wheels will just roll over it. Personally, I'm still not convinced this design's strong enough. Printer's making horrible clunky noises. Personally, I would have flared out here. Possibly even made it like a hump almost, rather than a tab. And yes, it's less access for you to get in, but it's stronger. The other option is that this becomes a twist and lock before it gets screwed down, so that all these places, you could have like lots of little tabs, little slots here with a tab in the hatch panel that clicks in, and you just slots in, locks in, so it can't push out, and I think that'll give it more strength. Unfortunately, I do not have the files for the. Well, I have the printable files. I don't have the modifiable files. They're all made in Blender. I can't use Blender, even if I had the files. So basically, this is feedback that's going to have to go back to Paul when he comes back to working on these things, and I don't know when that's going to be. So effectively, I'm stuck with this design to try and make it work. Worst case scenario, this doesn't work. I put these panels back on as they are with the fiberglass, and it doesn't work.
and it ends up being a static droid at Celebration. To put it lightly, I'm gutted. I've worked really hard to get to this point, and it looks like it's going to fail at the final hurdle. Admittedly, if I built this ball a year ago when I first got the files, I would have found this out and might have been able to get in contact with Paul before he went off sick, to make the modifications, or at least ask for the files or something to help. But as it is, this is where we are. So I'm going to learn to fiberglass, and then once I've done that, I'll show you how they look. I don't know how long this takes to dry. I've never used it. Dries in 20 to 30 minutes, permanently retaining its shape, unless 25 kilos of wheel rolls across it, I guess. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll try this. Wish me luck. Alright, so the first ring is finished. The second one's just been started. That was 15 hours, and it is chunky, and they feel a lot stronger. I suppose the real question is pulling out from here, isn't it? I can't put as much pressure down as the wheel can, but and just check, and it bit clean up, but it fits. So I mean, that needs to be sanded and painted yellow, and it also needs the heat sets inserts put in, both there and the ones under there as well. So effectively, that's my backup plan. I've done the fiberglassing. Be kind, I've never done this before, and it was relatively easy. So that's 3 strips down like that twice on it, so there's basically 6 strips on there, with most of the strength here, which is where the weak point is. I've done that on both rings, and needs tidying up around the edges of the tabs, what you can call them, and I don't appear to have damaged the paintwork, which is a good start. Yeah, Brian and Henrik are going to have to ask you to re-sign this, I think. And yeah, so basically I just got to let that. I mean, it says it's dry. That still feels a little bit sticky to me. Just going to leave it as long as possible, and then I can clean up the edges, and then we can. I'll try putting it back in the ball and just see what happens. If that breaks, then I've got this option. Hopefully, if I've got time. I mean, it's only just sand and prime and paint the one bit, and it's only here. I don't have to do the tines here. So we'll see. Let's just tie now to let it dry and let that print. Right, panels are back on. I have been playing around with the driving, but I'll just explain what I've been doing. So throttle and rudder is driving and steering, as you'd expect. I've put an exponential curve on, basically just so it's not full power as soon as I push forward. So the theory is it has a nice gentle run, sort of build up a speed. To a degree that works. It's not the mixer outputs. So you can see on the outputs for steering and throttle, I've taken it down to about 40%, between 35 and 40% power for steering and throttle. So basically, I have to push quite a way forward on there before we start getting full power, and that's mainly just so I can keep it under control. I'm not kidding when I call this a cry-out drive. It does not. It does not steer well. So I think I'm facing forward. So let's just check this noise. So I think it's fair to say you can hear that quite well. How well you hear that at con, probably not. I've got my so that stabilization off. That's in hover mode, and that's the active stabilization, I think. I can't remember the exact terms. So I'm finding this setting seems to be giving me the best results. So oh, that's the other thing. I've inverted all these 4 channels here. So now basically the droid is driving backwards. I decided I wanted more head movement going forward than backwards, so I have inverted it. So if you listen, so that's the head moving inside, and then that probably a very quiet noise is the head twisting. You'll note the head is not on the body at the moment. That's purely because I'm scared to drive it with the head on. So as I said, I think I'm facing forward, so excuse the mess. I don't have a lot of room in here really. Driving wise, also for some reason BB8 seems to be really attracted to chopper, as in no matter which way I steer, he goes straight for chopper. So don't know why, but anyway, let's see how we get on. So if I zoom out a bit, you might be able to see both of them. There we go. See what I mean? So something I'm finding is the steering appears to be overpowering the throttle, which actually makes sense considering my numbers here. I'm putting more power to the steering than the throttle. So let me just quickly change that. Let's change them both. Sorry, listening to my daughter. Let's change these both to 100. Whoa. Sorry, just get there in a second. I don't know what happened if I went faster. I'd overshoot it. There we go. So, pardon me. So now my steering and throttle are at the same power. So theoretically, I'm crashing it into chopper at the moment, aren't I? So we need to go backwards. There we go. And then if I want to go forwards and right. Ooh, too much right. Too much right. Okay, and now I'm facing... No, I'm still facing forward. It's now really attracted to Diet Coke, so now let's go backwards. Right. So at the moment I'm spinning the drive inside the ball. Of course with the head on I don't actually know which way I'm facing. That way still. Right. No, it's still facing that way. It sounds really painful on the side, doesn't it? So that crack you just heard is where it's rolling over the hatch panel. I keep checking the hatches and so far it seems to be okay. So sorry, now I'm facing forward. Whoa. Right, so now I'm down there, so I'm technically facing forward again. So if I do this, I should spin round. Of course, I've no idea how far I spun round, so no. I'm also worried about how much it throws it around. It seems to be. There we go. No, it's still stuck there. I think the stabilisation is fighting me, so let's try this one. Okay. So you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to give myself full power, but I think I've probably taken away too much power. So 512 would be full power, so 100, 100, about 25% power. I think I need more power. Okay, so I'll put more power into that, and then we'll see how we get on. I was just doing some test driving after changing the values, and I started hearing a sort of a sound of a screw in the bottom of the drive. So I've just opened it back up, and I found these two. Now they're off the frame. I can't see any missing screws. Oh, actually, if I just found it. Yeah, I think I have. I think I just found it. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's that one there. So I'll put that back on, and then we'll try again. See how we're getting on. Yeah, wasn't expecting that. So yeah, I'll do that, and then we'll try again. Okay, we're back here again. Put the screws back in. So if I show you what we've got to, I've now set the apparently set the power to 204, so it's 40% of the maximum power of the drives, or rather 40% of the throttle, I should say. We're still in an exponential curve. Let's go back around to the front. I wish there was a way to go back on the pages. There probably is, I just don't know what it is. Next one. Yeah, so we're using a 70% curve, I suppose. So at the moment the drive is facing me, so if I push forward it'll come towards my feet. Theoretically. I think what we'll probably actually do is go heading towards chopper, because it just seems to like driving towards chopper. But let's try it. Whoa! Okay. So that's 40% power. We'll go back. Okay, let's go forward. I think we'll head towards chopper. Yeah. So I want to go this way. What is it about you heading towards chopper? Stop driving into chopper! Right. Okay, so apart from the fact it keeps wanting to drive into chopper, I don't know why. Obviously it likes chopper. So that's 40% power, so that's probably a bit too much. Because it just suddenly, you know, I don't have to do much. I think I was only going. I'll show you on here, because it's I was only going to about there. It's already at full power, which is not what I want. I want that to be full power. So, is it the curve? Let's look at the curve. Yeah, bear in mind I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. So is that curve too much? Do I want it even more gradual? Or is that... no, that's... I mean... and it shoots up. It's kind of not what I want. Or is that just more or less gradual curve, isn't it? Curve, can I do anything here? Mode, don't know what these mean. Turn mode 2 off, don't know what I've done there. Okay, don't know what that's doing. Switch. Say I don't actually know what half these things do. I've not really had much experience using RC transmitters. Let's try the weight. Oh, that's kind of more like what I want. So let's say 70. I suppose I should do the steering to match. Let's see what it's like without the steering. Alright, I can't remember which way I'm facing now. I think that's forward. Yeah. So let's try turning. I don't know if you can see, if I zoom in a bit. You probably can't see on the camera, but that panel is pushing out a bit slightly. That's one of the hatch panels, which means the weight of the drive. Yeah, you can see it pushing out a bit more now. It means the weight of the drive is resting on it. Oop. God, this thing's horrible to steer. Right, which way am I? Oh, okay. Jiggled the cry-out board. That's something I find, the cry-out board, if it jiggles, resets itself. It needs a case, really. Right, so now I'm facing. So, right, this is backwards. Okay, I can look at that for the moment. Don't go towards chopper! What is it about you going towards chopper? I'm sure there's people watching this now who's screaming at me going, no, you've got all the curves wrong, you need a steeper curve or more power. I mean, basically what I'm trying to do is I don't want to use all the power of the wheels. So in Padawan, so like on R2, on Padawan, in software it's set to use by default 40% of the power. That's kind of what I'm going for. Admittedly, with the Padawan, you have the 3 speed settings as well, but it never actually uses more than 40% of the power. And the same with the turn as well. So I'm trying to replicate that on here. So I think I'm happier with the throttle. I think. Which one am I facing? Right. Pretty much where he's going to park anyway. Yeah, I'm a bit happy with the throttle, so I'm using. Let's go back in and have a look. I mean, that looks like a good curve. 70% of the power, or 70% of the input, I guess, and with a 60%, 60-degree curve. Today, that kind of looks. It's doing something, put it that way. I'm thinking I'd do it with the rudder as well, because otherwise I'm using full power of the steering, even though I've not got full power of the thrust. I'm going to have a quick look at the Padawan code and see what the... I'm going to change that to match. I'll have a look at the Padawan code and see what kind of weight it is on the steering and make that match. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to try that. So I'll leave this like this for now, and then I'll carry on having playing around, and maybe I might get brave enough to put the head on. Right. Sorry, still got the mask on. There we go. So that's been cut, and now, you notice I put the head on, so that should fit in here. With a tiny bit of persuasion. I need to trim it down slightly more. No, that should go in. Yeah, that should go in. Oh no. Damn it. Alright, I'll do another one. Okay, I'll do another one. Right. So I still got the mask on. Let's try that again. If you're wondering how I did the template, I basically just put the duff broken one over it, and I'll cut along the line this time. There we go, that's better. So that's just placed in. I can quite easily, I say quite easily, that will just fall out if I tip the dome. So I'm going to use some epoxy, and not super glue, and epoxy the lens cap on. But that pretty much makes BB8, doesn't it? That's one of the only bits that are missing. I'll do that, and then it's only going to be a couple of dabs because I need to be able to remove it. If the dome does fall off and smash, that will be where it takes the brunt, and that will smash first. So I need to be able to easily remove it. But likewise, it needs to be safely secured as well. So yeah, that'll be the job now. There we go, done. You may be wondering why I use resin instead of super glue, and the simple reason is the super glue would react with any fingerprints are left on the inside of the sphere, leaving nasty fingerprint marks, and also fog up. I believe the resin won't do that, so it might leave like little blobs, which will dry clear, but overall it leaves less of a mark. So there we go, one BB8 dome and one BB8 body. So I guess the next thing to do is do another test drive. I have been messing around with the settings again. I've knocked the throttle down to 31% and the steering down to 27%, so even lower than what I said in the last segment, just simply because I have a bit more control. There's still plenty of power in the drive afterwards, so we'll do a quick test run. Right, I think I'm ready. So you can see when it talks, the light flashes. So we know that's working. So does the head move? Yep. So we know that works. Right, you ready to try this BB8? I'll take that as a yes. Try powering up. Okay. Right. Ready? I'm conscious of that, that's there. So let's back up a bit. stabilisation is on. Whoa. So apparently that's a straight line. Right, I'm going to turn the stabilisation off to make turns, and it's on the spot apparently. There we go. Whoa. I can hear something moving. Right, there we go. So apparently going straight means I'm going to go off at an angle. Oh, whoa! Hello. Come on, you're the one who drove into me. Right, put the drive stabilisation back on, so let's see what happens now. Right, so trying to turn on the spot makes it jump around like that. So let's try that again. Yeah, it makes it jump. If I turn the drive stabilisation off, it seems a lot better. I think there might be too much pull on the head magnets. I think that's why I'm getting a lot of... Yeah, I think there's slightly too much pull on the head magnets. I think that's what the scraping is. Okay, I'm going to take a panel out and have a look. Well, it's getting dirty already. Yeah, I could take a panel out and have a look. I might have to lower the headmaster down very, very slightly. But I'd say that's working with new BB8. Yeah. Yeah, it's getting stuck on something. There's too much magnetic pull. But there's enough magnetic pull for me to be tilting that far forward, which was the original backwards. Yeah, okay. I'm going to have a look at that magnetic pull. But other than that, I'm really happy that's working. And that is working really well. Yes. Right, look at me and say something funny. That's not funny. You know it's not funny. Right, can you say something funny? Apparently not. Right, okay. Right, so I've had a great half an hour. I've had to cut a new lens again because when the dome fell off when I was testing, that popped out. Not a problem, push that back in. Unfortunately, the inner eyepiece came off, which means I had to take this off to glue that back down. And I glued that back down and ended up getting fingerprints all over it, and it was ruined. So I've just done a new one, and this one's actually just pressure fit. So we'll see how well that lasts. I've been messing around with this, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but with the dome on, if I just... There's like a very slight pull. Unfortunately, I can't go any lower, because if I go any lower, then this doesn't stay. So I think I'm kind of
at that midpoint. Also, when the dome fell off, those fell out, so I had to hot glue them, and then I successfully burnt my finger. And so I think we're ready. I think I'm ready for celebration. There's lots I'd like to do. There's lots of tuning I'd like to do, but honestly, I don't have the time now. It's Sunday. I'm travelling up on Thursday. Also got work in between. So this is pretty much all I can do. Plus, I need to sort some bits out on here because that light isn't lighting up. So yeah, this is pretty much all I can do on BB8 at the moment. I am going to try and sort some of the sounds out, but that's software. So I have a bank of sounds and not just a bank of random sounds, like a bank of happy sounds, angry sounds, scared sounds, that sort of thing. So I can at least do that, bit of characterization like that. Other than that, I think this is pretty much all I can do. It will roll, it will talk, it will flash, the head will move. That's pretty much all I need to do. I think that's going to be my main driving droid around celebration. This might just do like a little lap around the droid builders area. Maybe it might end up just sitting there all day talking to himself. We'll see. But yeah, so I've just made it for celebration. It rolls, it talks, it moves, it does everything I need it to do. I said, just needs tuning, but I've got there. It's been a slog, but I've got there. So yeah, the next time you see this droid, you'll probably see him at celebration. Obviously, he's not been weathered. There's, the panel lines need sorting out. I mean, there's a bit of weathering where he's chipped the paint where he kept running his chopper. But there's no, there's no definition of the panel lines, so that what he's doing. But that's going to be post celebration now. So yeah, that's. I'm basically going to leave it there. As I said, apart from sorting out the sound banks, that's it. I'll put his head back on. I'll put his cap back on. So I'll put that back on in a minute, and then I'll pop that panel hatch back on, and then that's it. I'm going to leave him until celebration. So I'll do a wrap-up episode, but I've got there. I have a BB8 back. It works, more or less, and I am genuinely quite pleased with it. It's had its issues, but I'm genuinely quite pleased with him. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you at celebration, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.